I've got a soldering iron, which I've never used before. I've got glass cutters. I've got sheets of glass. This is gonna go great, okay? All right. Last time around, you guys saw my team challenge me to learn the art of soap carving. Oh, can I fix that? I think I just cut off part of the dog's head. Oh. And this week, well, I thought, why not try my hand at stained glass? I mean, honestly, what could go wrong? I've never done this before in my life. This is not completely my fault. There are some videos floating around out there on the internet. Well, I'm not gonna say they make it look easy, but they make it look possible. So I decided, I don't know, let's try it out. Let's take on an ancient art form and see if someone like me can learn how to do it just by watching videos on the internet. What are the odds I'm actually gonna pull this off? Stained glass as a hobby is not cheap. Glass itself, especially the beautiful, colorful glass that you want to use for stained glass, is fairly expensive. You have to buy some specialty tools. You need a soldering iron. I already had one, or my husband did, thankfully. And then you have to buy the metal bits that keep stained glass together, which is called cane, C-A-M-E. Most traditionally, it's made out of lead, which these are. It's harder to cut and join stained glass at angles other than right angles. So we're doing something really simple today, guys. I picked some colors, like this really pretty dark green, and then 3 ombre shades in this amber and yellow color family, and then this kind of fun streaky white. I thought it would almost be like a modern sunrise, with the green at the bottom representing the land, and then the shades of amber getting lighter, and then the white at the top representing the clouds. Why am I so nervous? I am nervous. It feels wrong to break glass on purpose. I just want it to stay together and look like I did it on purpose. I feel like that's a realistic goal, don't you? So I've got my template. I drew this. I just used a T-square to draw it. Kept it, again, very simple. And I'm hoping that some of my glass has square edges. So this looks like it does. I'm gonna grab my T-square again. And I think I'm just going to do one long line down this whole side so that ideally I'm only having to make 2 cuts. I just feel like that is going to make my life easier. And because all of these rectangles are the same size, I'm just going to use the top one as the template for all of these. Again, I'm a beginner, so if I can make 2 cuts per color, try to make it a little easier on myself, then that is what I am going to do. Oh, the really nerve-wracking part. We are going to cut and break the glass. Oh. So I am using a glass cutter like this. It's got a grip like this that is, again, supposed to be good for beginners. I really tried to set myself up for success. It has a little wheel here. It does have an empty chamber, and some things I've read said you should put glass cutting oil in this. Other things I read said that is not necessarily necessary. It could just make your cutting wheel last longer. I don't have any glass cutting oil, so we are just going to try it like this. I also grabbed some work gloves when it comes to the actual breaking part. Again, nothing necessarily specified that you should wear gloves, but I just really want to make sure I am protecting my hands. Let's do this, guys. I'm just going to press firmly and score the glass. And I should, I don't know if that did it, to be honest. That definitely sounded like it was doing something. Maybe the straight edge is not the right, oh gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. Put a glove on, the hand that's going to hold the glass gently but firmly. We are clamping on these gloves. I'm so nervous, like my hands are shaking. Okay, and if I did it right, this is just gonna snap. 1, 2. Okay. Okay, I don't think I scored it enough. I'm so nervous. Okay, no, I don't think okay. I don't know, we're gonna try. We're just gonna try to go over it again. No, I definitely heard it. I heard it doing something. All the real stained glass people out there are watching and just cringing right now. Okay, I think maybe this is just a really big piece to try to break off. Woo! Okay, I mean that is a pretty clean edge. I think I can work with it. Let's just carefully, again, this is, you know, the edges, it's glass, so be careful, guys. Honestly, don't try this at home. I certainly shouldn't. Okay, so I think the key is I need to be a little more forceful with my scoring tool. Oh my gosh, you guys. I did it. I mean, I made one rectangle of glass. Don't worry about the Sharpie. We can use a little nail polish remover to take that off, but just have 4 more colors to go. Hear it bite into the glass. 3. Yes! Oh, that one was so good. 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, I'm doing it, guys. 1, 2, 3. After some trial and error, I find that a damp paper towel is the best thing for picking up all those little shards of glass and keep them out of your fingertips. Ah, that one did. Okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. My kids are gonna be home from school, and the last thing I wanna be doing is like breaking glass and soldering lead together. So I think I'm going to tidy up and tackle part 2 of making stained glass in the morning. So I'll see you guys then. I have transferred all of my anxiety. I've put all that anxiety on putting the stained glass together and using the soldering iron. I've just never done anything like this before. So I've got an apron on, I've got my hair back because I'm gonna be bent over using the soldering iron. I have really long hair, you know, be safe. I've also opened a window just to like bring in some ventilation. I read varying degrees of like if soldering irons, you know, release a lot of fumes, and I just, again, decided better safe than sorry. This bad boy, I mean, before we deal with that, we have to cut the cane to fit the glass. And we're just gonna dive in, guys. We have our glass pieces, And we have our two kinds of cane. So this kind almost looks like a letter H. It has two channels, a channel on each side, and this is for joining the glass together on the inside of the piece. And then we have this kind of cane, which is more of a U channel. You can see that, it looks like the letter U. And this is what you use to put together the outside of the frame. So to do this, I'm going to grab my T-square, measure it, mark it, snip it. That will fit right there. And this piece will fit right inside of it. I left a little bit of space on each side. I'll probably have to trim it even one more time because this will overlap some. So far, so good, right guys? Now, the way these snips work, they tend to crimp one side. So I'm gonna cut off that crimped side. So we have a nice fresh cut. Straighten her out. And we're just going to cut 1, 2, 3 more of these pieces. It's very satisfying to cut this. It's so soft. So they are gonna fit together like that. Now I'm seeing why some videos I've seen, people used almost like a frame that really held everything in place. And I am seeing why now. Because without the solder, this is just gonna slide all over the place. So I need to troubleshoot. I need to really look at my life, to be honest. We're just going to cut the frame pieces and then I'm gonna do a little troubleshooting. So for the outer frame, I'm gonna cut them to size. Obviously there's gonna be some hangover. I want to be able to cut it with a mitered edge. So having a little bit of extra is good. That's what we're going for. Right there. Because this one is just a U, it is slightly more delicate and it will want to crimp. But from what I've read, you should just use your snips to kind of reform it. I don't know, I don't feel like I did very. There, that's better. That is better than that. We can just bend it back. All right, that's our top. Cutting everything a little wide because I just want to be able to have a little wiggle room to hopefully get that mitered edge so it looks, you know, really professional, but I might just have to do like a straight cut. Okay, it's done. Oh, it's so not done. You know, everybody thinks cutting the glass is the hardest part of stained glass, but turns out. All right, I spared you guys a lot of cursing. I gave up on doing the mitered edge. I just decided this was more beginner friendly and lacking, you know, a true like stained glass frame. I just decided to go with lots and lots of blue tape, painter's tape, to hold everything together. I think now it's time to solder, or try to. I've never used a soldering gun before. Soldering gun? Soldering iron. It's not a gun, right? I mean, it's finished. For better or worse, it's kind of a moment of truth time here, guys.
we are going to solder this. So I'm assuming it needs to be soldered on the front and the back. So I flipped this over. This is the back. I have some flux here. This is a rosin that helps the solder kind of flow onto the surface. Mine was kind of crystallized, so I warmed it up in this ramekin. I just have an old paintbrush. It doesn't take a lot, and you just kind of swirl the flux on the joints where you are going to want your solder to go. You just never know if you can do something unless you try. So we are gonna try, guys. Try, guys. Sounds like a YouTube channel. Ha! We have a well-ventilated area. We have our soldering iron. We have our solder. Oh boy, okay. We're just going to some of that right there. I mean, it ain't pretty, but it looks like it's working. I mean, it looks like it's working, guys. Oh my gosh. Do you see that? I mean, that looks, I don't know. It doesn't look wrong.
This is honestly like really fun. Do I like making stained glass? The jury's out. Let's see if it actually works.
So we're just getting a little bit of our flux. Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna let this cool, then we will flip it over, do the other side.
Okay, listen, I'm not saying this is like the most beautiful soldering job I've ever seen, but it looks like it worked. And that's honestly all I could hope for. So I'm just gonna let this cool, then we will flip her over to the other side, and then, I mean, maybe we're done? This honestly did not take nearly as long as I thought it would. Like, who knew?
I did find that if you have kind of like a lumpy bit of solder, you can go back over with the soldering iron and smooth it out. Do not come for me in the comments about my lack of soldering skills. Like, I know, guys. If you get any, you know, little weird lumps of solder, you can kind of go back and smooth it a little bit with your soldering iron. Now, some real moment of truth time. We're going to remove the tape, see if it's all together.
You guys, I made stained glass. I mean, is it perfect? No. But did I teach myself how to do it in like just a few hours? Yes, and it works. Oh my gosh. Now, if I really wanted to make this look super pro, you could solder on a couple of jump rings on the top. Honestly, I didn't have any. Plus, that felt like a little bit of a stretch for a first timer. So I think for now, I'm just gonna find a pretty windowsill and lean this up and just let it catch the sunlight as it comes through. I have to say, it's been a while since I have learned something new and like genuinely been so pleased with the results. I mean, let's just moment of silence for the soap carving, right? But I want to hear from you guys. Have you ever tried stained glass? Because I can see how it would be totally addictive, but I definitely have a lot more practice than I need to do. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, if you felt inspired to take on this kind of medieval art project, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm gonna go find the perfect place for my new piece of stained glass. I can't believe it. I'll see you guys next time.